Welcome to the Art Lady's home, and today I'm going to be making some creamed chicken, Mexican creamed chicken. Of course, I'm going to make this recipe up, but it's for a Mexican family buffet. We're having Mexican Day today, and we're going to be having it buffet style, so I'm preparing lots of separate little dishes. And one of our favorite family gathering dishes is this dip I make with shredded chicken, and then I put jalapenos in it, and actually this is banana peppers here that I've simmered it with, and we put a lot of Mexican creams and queso creams. So it's a creamy queso chicken. You can use it as a dip. We love it as a dip, but today we're going to be using it on top of some tacos in our buffet. So I'm going to show you how I make this. Usually I get this really great queso, it's something like this that comes in a a package, and it already has little chunks of jalapenos cut up in it, but I can't find that anymore, so I'm bummed about that. So I'm going to try this queso blanco, and I'm going to put one package of this in. Sometimes with this much chicken I put 2 in, but we're going to try it with 1. And I've also got some of this Mexican cream, and I'm going to use half a container of this cream. But let me first backtrack and tell you what I did here. This morning, when I got up, I put 6 fresh chicken breasts in the crock pot, and I put it on high, and I've cooked it for 2.5 hours. I also stuck in about 1/2 cup of these banana peppers with some of the banana pepper juice, and then I put in about a cup of regular juice at the bottom, a cup of water at the bottom, just to simmer this and cook the chicken. So now that the chicken was cooked, what I did was I just kind of gently, I drained most of the water. I have very little in the bottom here. I want to leave some of this juice here to simmer with. Oh, I should probably drain off some more. I have about well, let me see what this side looks like. Yeah, I have about 1 inch. Maybe I'll drain off. Well, I think it'll be all right. So if not, if it's too runny, you just leave the cover off and let it steam out. So I have about 1 inch or less in the water, in the bottom, depending on how I move my chicken around. And then what I'm doing is I'm just slicing up the chicken here in the crock pot. Now, remember that I am pretty much a lazy cook because I absolutely hate to cook. I was hoping that my kitchen remodel would make me want to cook more because I'm in this beautiful, gorgeous kitchen, but I still hate cooking so bad. Maybe this summer when I'm not working, I'm a teacher, so I'm off, I might like cooking more. I'm hoping, but I'm 50 now, and I don't know if I'm going to love cooking anymore. So I'm going to try and love cooking though. So I am the lazy cook, so I just dump all this in, and of course I'm not going to take this out and cut it on a cutting board. Man, that's too much. So I'm just trimming it like this in the crock pot. Of course I'm not going to scratch the side of my crock pot. I mean, even if I did, it's 20 bucks. So I'm just cutting it up quickly, and I'm leaving it kind of chunky for now. After you simmer this for 2 or 3 more hours, it's going to just shred up on its own. But I just kind of wanted to break up some of the big chunky stuff. And then afterwards you can just take a fork and just lightly shred it. So it's been cooking for 2.5 hours right now. And let's see what time it is. I think everybody's going to be getting here in about 2 hours. So I think it'll be just perfect by the time it's done, by the time they come. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking this queso blanco, block of it, and basically more cheese the merrier, and I'm going to cut this up. Like I said, this was 6 chicken breasts, 6 halves. You know how the chicken breast comes 1 on each side? I got 3 packages, and it was a full chicken breast. So 3 actual full chicken breasts, 3 packages of chicken breasts. There was 2 in each package, so 6 halves. So I'm crumbling up this. This isn't as creamy as the cheese that I usually get, so I'm hoping this is going to work good. Like I said, I couldn't find that regular cheese that I love. So we'll try this. If it doesn't work, I'm not publishing the video. So there we go. Now I'm going to put some of this Mexican cream in. I'm going to do half a container right now. Oops, that was a little bit more than half. A little bit less, a little bit more than half that I used in this crock pot. And this is a pretty big crock pot. I'll tell you by my hands here. Well, you can't see the whole crock pot. Let me see. There you go. Here, let me show you a tidbit of my kitchen too. You can see I've got this pretty fancy kitchen. Here's my cooktop here. And I was hoping, oh, sorry dog. I was hoping that my kitchen remodel would make me love cooking, but I still hate it. So here we go. I'm the worst cook in my family of gourmet cooks. So here we go. Now I'm also going to put in some, these are jalapeno slices. These are pretty spicy. Actually, I don't want to use a dirty fork going in that jar. I'm a bit of a germaphobe. So here's a clean fork going in the jar. I'm going to scoop out a quarter of this jar here of jalapeno slices. I'm just going to scoop it out. I'm guessing. I just guess, estimate. That's why I'm a lazy cook. I'm going to scoop out a quarter of the jar here. I don't like it really crazy spicy, although my family does love it spicy. Now I'm going to go into, man, I do love, oops, there goes some juice. I do love banana peppers. So I'm going to put about a half, maybe, yeah, a half a cup. I usually scoop out pretty much. Let me see. I'll tell you after I scoop it out, I can tell by what it looks like. And then, of course, you can add as much of these or as little of these as you like to your dip. So I put in about, I'd say that's about 3/4 of a cup of banana peppers here. And this is going to simmer up and give some nice spice flavor to this chicken here. Now, what I also did, in case I need it, like I said, I can't find that queso cheese that I love that already has the jalapenos in it, which upsets my whole family because they love that kind that I make. This does look a little creamy here. I'm going to stir it up and then I'm going to cook it for I want it to be very cheesy. And so what I did do, I'm going to cheat a tad. I did buy some Velveeta, and I might put a hunk of that in to give it that creamy consistency. Although I call it fake cheese, but that gives a nice consistency to dips and things because it runs real quick. It liquefies fast. Okay, so I'm stirring this up and I'm going to simmer this. And then after a couple hours, what's going to happen is all this chicken will just flake off. I don't need to hand shred it now. You know, it's just cooked, so it's, you know, I can cut it, but I need a knife to cut it. I want it to be falling apart so that it just easily shreds. And then I'm hoping some of this liquid is going to come out of this, which usually happens. And then what I do is I transfer this for the party into a mini crock pot. And then that just, and then I plug it into the heater on the island, plug it into the outlet on the island, and then for the party everything's on the island in the buffet style, but that way it stays hot and you can just serve it right from the mini crock pot. So anyways, I'm going to let this cook a couple hours. I'll be checking it and stirring it as I go along. And then, like I said, everything just shreds up nice and is a nice cheesy dip. You can put spices in and flavors in if you like, whatever you want. I like it pretty white, and then not too much spice, and then my family members can just go ahead and spice up as they need to. But I always taste as I go along, so adjust as you need to and taste as you go along. But that is the first steps in preparing this. Everybody raves about my queso dip, this queso chicken dip. So I will let it cook and show you what happens in 2.5 hours. I've let it cook for about a half an hour and tasted it. It does need a more flavor, so what I'm doing is I'm going to be using, I poured in some more of the jalapeno slices, the strong jalapeno. And I used 3/4 of the jar, so I have a quarter of the jar left of this jalapenos. And then I did put a chunk of, about a 4-inch chunk of Velveeta in to give it a creamier texture here. And this will just be melting in to add more of the cheese to it. Like I said, I usually have 2 blocks of that queso cheese. And the queso cheese is really, really spicy that I buy, and I cannot find it, which kills me. And the queso cheese has lots of jalapeno flavor to it. It's pretty spicy on its own. So that's why I added more of the jalapenos to try and compensate for not having that queso cheese. But I'm going to put in some, a little bit of chili pepper too, and a half a teaspoon of chili pepper, and then I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of some dried garlic as well in here to give it some flavor. But that's what it's like so far. This is coming out amazing. It has been an hour and it's starting to flake and just really cream up. Oh, I think everybody's gonna just go nuts over this. Perfect. This will thicken. You can kind of see how it's starting to thicken here. But I'm really glad that my kind of makeshift, I was trying to make that cheese up that I normally buy already done, which I love because I'm such a lazy cook. I like to buy anything that I don't have to do myself, but like I said, I can't buy it, so that totally kills me. But this combination of that queso blanco with that cream works perfect. And then and it was, I'd say it was more than a cup of Velveeta, but it was, like I said, a 4-inch chunk. It was about that big of a chunk of Velveeta. Now what I did was I did a little sprinkle of this canine, just sprinkle a little bit to taste at a time, and this will give it some more kick. But what it tastes like is, what this is it's, the meat is almost infused with those jalapenos, the flavor of the jalapenos, and just stirring it, I can get that luscious jalapeno flavor, but it's not overpowering and so strong that it's gonna knock you on your feet. It's gonna just give it a light kick, because I am not a huge, massive spice fan as far as strong taste goes. But it is infused, the meat is totally infused with that. Let me take a little taste here of the jalapeno. Lightly, very lightly. And then it does give a little kick aftertaste. As you're eating it, it's not that spicy, but then a little bit of kick in your mouth afterwards, but not bad. It's more like eating a banana pepper, because I won't eat these jalapenos plain myself. Eating this jalapeno will just knock me for a loop. But the flavor of it goes through the actual sauce and chicken, so it gives it a mild flavor to it. So if you like something mildly flavored, this will work for you. And I've also made this before without the hot jalapenos. I've just used banana peppers, and that's good too. But I thought I'd change it up a little bit this time. I wanted a little bit more of a kick, and this is absolutely delicious. I know everyone's gonna go nuts for it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And like I said, this is great for a party. And I separate it out, and my 13-year-old son goes absolutely nuts for this. He just loves it, and he eats it leftovers. So this is like I said, the 6 chicken halves, and this is enough for, if I use a party, I'll use half of this for the party dip if you're just serving it as a dip. But if you're having it as your main course meal, you may use the whole thing, depending on how many people you have at your party. But a simple small party, the dip, depending on how many people you have there, if I have about 15 people, half of this is gone for the dip. Totally gone. So this would be enough for dips and main course meals as well. I hope you enjoyed your little cream queso chicken. Okay, we're all ready for the Mexican buffet, and I want to just show you how we have our setup for this. I'll start off actually with the hot stuff down on the end. This is the chili meat here, and I have a quick video on how to make that. This is the queso chicken here, which is absolutely delicious. This is going to be the big hit there. And then we have some homemade chili here. And then we have some Mexican rice, refried beans, And then we have our fun little shells, so you can do it any way you want. You can make little taco boats, you can make hard taco shells, you can do burritos. And then we have our toppings down on this end. Here we have guacamole, and this is a homemade guacamole with, is there bacon in that guacamole?
No.
No. And then we have our little homemade salsas.
Sour cream.
Sour cream. Oh, and what we did was we float sour cream on the top of that guacamole. That way it stays, it doesn't turn brown as we're waiting to serve it. And then we have some, what's that corn stuff again? Tex-Mex?
Salsa.
Salsa? Black bean corn salsa right there. And it's a sweeter salsa. And then for toppings, you can have your banana peppers and hot peppers. And then we have a little bit of dip over here for the chips. And then here's the little bar over here for the toppings, any kind of toppings you want to make. And then we put these little fun things in here, these little strips here if you want it just opened up over your burrito. Have a big wet burrito with those little corn things flaked on top. That'll be fun too. So there it is, how we have it, a quick, easy layout of a Mexican buffet, American style.